All right, everyone. Thanks for joining me on the live stream for the SyllaFX channel here. So we are in the New York session, November the 4th. We're going to take a look at a couple different currency pairs, do some analysis, and see if we can find any setups. If you guys do keep track of the channel, you probably already know that I trade support and resistance, supply and demand, as well as trend trading. So I just finished doing a recap video of the trades that I did yesterday. So we had 3 winners yesterday on the New York session on the 3rd. So if you guys want to check that out, that should be the most recently uploaded video, showing the 1 trade on the dollar, on the euro dollar, and then the 2 trades that I took on the dollar yen. So pretty good day yesterday. Had a few winners. So today we're looking to see what else we can get. Alright, so we got a lot of movement going on right now, and I'm pretty sure we had some news come out for CAD. Let's check out Forex Factory. Yeah, it's CAD news and dollar news this morning after 8:30. So we're past that point. So pretty much just waiting for a price to kind of get into its normal rhythm and see if we can find a setup there. I don't trade during news, so I usually wait about an hour, maybe 2 hours, depending on what the news is and how market is behaving at that time. So we're kind of over that period, and it's Friday, so we'll see if we can find anything good today. So and if we don't, we actually have pretty good week here, so wouldn't be a big deal if I don't find any trades today, but we'll see what we can find, and we'll take a look at, we'll start off with the dollar yen, or actually we'll start with the euro dollar and see what we got. So as you can tell, price is pretty much going up quite a bit here, so I just want to kind of wait for that to kind of settle down a little bit. We're still within that 1 hour of the news event, so gonna be patient here and see if we can find anything. I'll take a look at the other pairs in a moment here. Let's see. And before we do some analysis on the pairs, I'll probably kind of run through the trades that I took yesterday, just to give a brief explanation of those and see what happened while I took those. The fact that price pretty much broke and closed at that level, it'll probably can continue up, but doesn't fit into any of my strategies, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. Just wait for a setup. Alright, so I think I'm gonna jump into the trades that I took yesterday, just to kind of give a brief recap of that during the live. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and run through the trades that I took yesterday during the New York session, November the 3rd, and see what winners we had. So the first trade during the New York session was on the dollar yen. It was this position here. Let's go ahead and zoom in on that. So basically, this was just a simple support and resistance trade. If you guys keep up with the channel, you know I don't trade with indicators or any overlays or anything complicated like that. Just basically market structure and price action, and set up my support and resistance level on the major time frame for the 4 hours, and then I'll take my trades on the 15-minute chart. As you can tell, price is basically coming up to a major level. So this was some action, some resistance at this level, rejections at this level, and came back again to that level and rejections again. So I was waiting for that and seeing how price reacts to that level. So as we came through, price came up here and then came back down, rejected a level. So I'm waiting for price to come back up and see how it reacts to it a second time. So after it comes up and closes above it, comes back down significantly and closes below it. So at that point, I'm looking for sell positions again. And on the next candle closure is where I went ahead and took a sell position, set up the stop loss at this candle's high, right above the major resistance and above that wick, as you can tell. And price did come up a little bit, so I was on a little bit of a drawdown for a short period of time, and then it pretty much just plummeted. So took away, I think it was like 50 pips on that one. I'm not sure if this is showing the exact amount, but yeah, it should have been like right at 50 that I took on that one yesterday. So 3 standard lots are the trading sizes that I usually take. So this winner was about a little bit over $1,000. So not a bad trade at all. Pretty good, simple, clean, and fast. Maybe well, like 45 minutes or so. So that was a good one to take right off the back in the morning there. Then let's go ahead and explain the second trade. This trade, and so the next 2 trades were pretty much at the same time. It was the euro dollar and the dollar yen that I took. So let's go ahead and explain this one here. This was more of a supply and demand trade that ended up playing out. It was a little bit later in the New York session, so it didn't really, I should have known better, because that's when the market volume started dying down, but I felt like it was still going to play out. And as you can see, technically it did still end up playing out, but I didn't hold the trade for this long. I actually got out towards the beginning of the Asian session because I was ready to go to bed, and I don't go to sleep while trades are open. So, and I usually don't hold trades past the New York session at that. So the fact that this trade was a little bit later in the day, I kind of forced myself into staying in the trade a little bit longer, and actually got hit with the conversion rates on that. So it took away from the profits on that position as well. So this was more of a break-even trade, really, because by the time I closed it, it was only at 3 pips, about 3 pips into the profit. So kind of a break-even, didn't lose, but it was still a winner. But it didn't really come out with much on it at this point. So after the conversion, ate away from the profits, whatever. Learn a lesson on that one. So basically just don't stay into the trades as long as I did in this one, and I typically don't, but it is what it is. I felt like it was going to keep going up, and if I would have held it, yes, it would have played out, but it's not part of my rules, doesn't fit into my strategy, whatever. No loss taken, but it is what it is on this one. So basically consolidation happened here. Price skyrockets up with a lot of buying, volume comes in, breaks the consolidation highs. So I'll wait for price to come back in as these arrows indicate and see how it reacts to that zone. And it came in, tapped right into it, and then it started to stagnate in it. So as soon as I started, it started to try to move back up, because I didn't get the rejection that I was looking for, and actually rejected and closed above it. So I ended up taking the buy at this point here. Stop losses are below the wicks in that zone. And for the majority of the time, I mean, at first it was in profit, but then the rest of the evening was pretty much in drawdown. Not very much at all, but still in drawdown. So by the time I ended up closing out, like I said, it was only about 3 pips up on the profit there. So it is what it is. Break even to me, in my opinion, even though it was still 3 pips in profit. Oh well. But outside of this one, there was also the dollar yen, the second trade that I took around that same time. So basically the same concept as this one here. Support and resistance, price came back up to the resistance level and rejected. And it was right at this white candle here, the closure of this wick here that rejected that resistance zone. I was convinced it was going to keep coming down like it did with this one. So took a sell position there. Majority of the time I was in profit as well. And it was just kind of playing around there. And then by the time I was ready to close out of the trade, and I think this is one of the reasons I ended up closing just both of them at the same time, because this one was kind of coming down, but I wasn't as confident that it was going to move further down at that time during that Asian session, because I should have just closed it out. I shouldn't have even took the trades, to be honest, later in the New York session like that. But when I was about 24, I'm pretty sure it was only like 24 pips on this one. I ended up closing that one out and then closing the euro dollar out at the 3 pips. So this one's still technically a winner. A little bit under 500 bucks on the 3 standard lot, but it is what it is. It got hit with the conversion rate as well, so profit going down from that. So don't hold your trades past the session. It is part of my trading rules not to do so. For this one, I felt like it was going to keep going down anyway, so I did hold on to it. Learn to live there. I mean, I should have just went ahead and closed it out and left it alone. But those were the 3 trades that I took yesterday. One big winner, 50 pips on the dollar yen towards the morning of this session, New York session. And then a little bit later in this session, the 24 pips on the dollar yen. And then the sort of break even on the euro dollar. That would have played out, but I didn't hold the trade. It is what it is. So that's all that we have on the trades from yesterday, though. So let's see if anything is going on that we can possibly look for a setup here on the euro dollar. Our levels are there. Still technically downtrending on the major time frame, at least. On the hourly, I would honestly be looking for buy positions. I mean, all that volume that came in during the session, I think we're going to continue to move up and break some previous structure. Yeah, we already broke this here and this major support or major resistance. So if anything, I mean, the only thing that I would really look for right now, not even any sales, because the way the volume is, I got a feeling that price is going to continue to move up. So the only thing that I would find valid in this one is this. Coming back to this support level on the major time frame, rejecting, getting confirmation that it wants to reject, and then taking a buy there. Outside of that, I don't see anything really on the euro dollar. We'd have to see that come all the way down. So how much is that would have to actually make that kind of move? About 40 to 50 pips. It's possible during the session. It's Friday. So that's what I'm looking for on the dollar, on the euro dollar. Let's see what the dollar yen has for us here. Definitely selling. Coming back down. Broke some structure there. Yeah. I mean, technically this was kind of like slowly playing its way and trend trading there. A little bit of action here. And then of course the news event, and this is why I don't trade the news events, because it pretty much throws all of this off. So if you're kind of seeing lower lows are being made here, you're downtrending, and you could take a trend continuation trades on this. So broke this low, came down, came back up to test it, rejected, broke that low, came back to test it, kept moving down. But then as soon as news comes out, it's all over the place. So I don't trade during that time frame myself, so it is what it is. If anything, I would be looking at continuation of the trend trading here. So this is the zone. Hopefully price would come back up here and then make its move back down. That's the only thing I see valid on this one. So coming back to these lows. I mean, we'd be looking at what, possibly 50 pips at the most that I would aim for on this. So we need to wait for price to come back and continue the trend and all the buying volume that's in there. Hopefully we get enough retracement to bring it back up and then sell off on that point here. But nothing as of yet. I'll take a look at the Aussie dollar in a moment here. No rush. I got a feeling it's going to have kind of a similar setup that I'm looking for as the euro dollar. Like I mentioned earlier, this one may just kind of continue up. The fact that it closed and didn't really reject and come below it, or at least close below it, this may just continue moving up, to be honest. It's a lot of movement, a lot of volume. But, I mean, as we can kind of see, higher highs were being created, so especially off of this move in the consolidation area, higher high, came back down, came back to that high, higher high. And every time this came down, it's always stopped at this level, so pretty much an entire demand level here. And then from there, it just skyrockets. And if this would have been a trade to take, and I would not have traded this anyways, because that's way too fast of a movement. That I would, and the timing of the news event and how fast it came down and tapped into that area, this is not one that I would have taken. If it was a lot slower and we could actually catch it in time, let's see, even the 5-minute was, yeah, I would not have taken that even on the 5-minute chart. So it's a lot of movement here, about 100 pips. This could have been a good supply and demand trade, but way too fast that I would not have taken that. So it is what it is. So pretty much just waiting at this point to see if anything sets up for the zones that I'm looking at. See what the Aussie dollar is doing here. And overall, definitely moving back up. Yeah, price comes down to the major support, bounces off of it, and just skyrockets. Got a lot of rejection up here, so kind of be on the lookout for that. I draw this up here. Let's take a look at the 4-hour. It's not a major zone, but definitely an area I want to be aware of because there's a lot of rejection in this part here. But definitely broke this structure, so definitely moving up. So an entry point on this would be price to come back down and then reject the level. Let's see, what was the area? Was this one here? Yeah. What was the second one? This. I don't know that I would adhere to this one here now. Take that out. So based on, I mean, just this area, it does still kind of line up a little bit. So what I would be looking for is off of these rejections here, coming into there. If price were to make its way back up here, down here, to go ahead and reject and show those rejection candles, then I would be looking for a buy position to go ahead and ride it back up. Gotta go with buys on this one here. The movement is positive. It's all bullish. Since we don't really have anything set up right now, I guess I could look at the Aussie or the yen pairs and see what we got on those. Let's make sure our majors are still kind of intact. Yeah, move that down. Don't know that this one will really adhere much more, but we'll keep it there for now. Breaking structure and moving up. So if I'm looking for buys, again, very simple stuff, guys. There's nothing complicated about my trading strategies. Looking at this level for potential buys if price comes back down to those areas. That's what I would be looking for on the Aussie yen here. Let's see what else we got though. Pound dollar. I don't trade this one very often. It's more active during London. So let's see. For our chart, major levels are there. Pretty much looking for sell positions. Well, at least on the major time frame, that's what it looks like. But on the hourly, we got that nice rejection here, so a lot of buying power is coming in. So actually, I'd probably be looking for buys on a shorter time frame at least. Want to be aware of these. These are exit points that I would be marking out if I look for buy positions. Then we have this set up. Yeah, I mean, like I said, simple guys. I mean, this is not complicated at all. Just look at the where price is reacting, and when structure is broken, look for price to react to those levels again if it comes back to retest it. So buys all the way up to this level here on the pound dollar, so about 100 pips, a little bit over 100 pips that could be taken. So we'll wait and see what that does. So let's jump over and see what we got. So we got a little bit of closure with rejection, so price may come back down. I'm not too confident that because all the volume that's there, I mean, all of that. There may be some gaps to fill to come back into this major support, but that may take some time, to be honest. Price is definitely moving on this one. We might be able to get back to the zone for a sell, as long as we get the confirmation that it's rejecting and wants to move back down. That one may take some time. Kind of same thing there, stagnating up there. This one's definitely a lot closer. So, but then again, this is the pound dollar. I don't take a lot of trades on this one, but we'll kind of see what sets up on there. See if there's anything valid that I could potentially look at. So on this one, at least we're on a major support level. Definitely rejecting. See what the 1 hour looks like. Nice rejection here. This may be a good buy, to be honest. The pound dollar, or sorry, the pound yen. But it's a New York session. So pound is usually pretty active during the London, and it's nearing the end of London session. Well, it's only 9:30, but still, and the yen is not really trading much right now. So if anything, I mean, this would be a good buy because we got it hesitated here, rejected here, came back, and it's rejecting here as well. On the hourly chart, yeah, we might get some push up on this one here, but nothing that I could really look at as confirmation. If anything, I would want to take my buy positions down here on the 15-minute and hope that it breaks this level. So right now, doesn't fit any of my rules. Would not be taking a buy right here because my price might come back down before it starts making its way up, and my stop loss is not going to be that wide. So just seeing what happens on this one. EJ, let's see, Euro, Yen. Majors level set up, rejected a major support, coming back up, but we got a little bit of resistance here. That's probably going to bounce off of a bit. So definitely will not be taking a buy at that level. Yeah, kind of getting close to that area, so no buys there. If anything, I mean, we got a pretty good window of about what 60 pips that you could take if we did something like this on a 15-minute chart structure that was broken. I would be looking at down here, the price to come back into that area, reject, and buy back up. Very simple stuff. I mean, anybody can pretty much mark up the chart like this: support and resistance, supply and demand, trend trading. Nothing complicated, no indicators, just market structure. Look at it. You know, price is not making any newer lows, and then it breaks structure to the upside to make a newer high. It wants to go up. Wait for the retracement, bounce off of a zone that it broke, and move up with it. Simple as that. Nothing complicated about this. It's gonna be some time before this one actually comes back down anyway, so just kind of sit there and see. Fridays have been recently like pretty volatile. Definitely some movement in them. If anything, the closest one that I would be looking at is maybe the dollar yen. Aussie dollar is still quite a bit away. Maybe the pound dollar. I guess we'll keep an eye on this one here. I'm not 100% confident that I would really take a trade on this one. It looks pretty good though. I mean, a lot of rejection there, not breaking any newer lows, and broke a high. So this may be a good buy. I'll mark this one up and see what it looks like. So to the upside to about this level, so about 50 pips. Move that back down. So we'll probably be taking a buy if it rejects right around here. So yeah, 70 pips to this zone, and I'm looking at this rejection area here. So I would go for about 60 on this one before it gets to that rejection level. Bounce off of here, reject there, stop loss right below the zone, about 17 pips. Yep, a little bit over 1 to 3, 1, 3.5. It would be nice for it to come all the way up to this level, but you know, we're going to get some rejection here, and then it's going to be like towards the end of the market, so it's like, yeah, I'm not going to stick around that long for it. Do maybe a 70 pip aim on that one. Let's see what price does here though. So I'll leave it on the 15. But this looks like a good place to kind of look at here. So if we get some rejections to confirm a buy, we'll take that one. Might have a live trade here on this session, guys. So. Oh man. We are into the zone. Let's see if we get the rejections we're looking for. We have to get the wicks, guys. We have to get the rejection in the wicks to be able to take a buy position here. Anywhere else coming down? It's possible it might bounce off of here for the dollar, the euro dollar. Still got a bit of ways to go to get there. Yeah, the only one close to our zone that we're looking at is the pound dollar. This one's coming back to that resistance or that support. Actually, yeah, we're still within structure there. So let's see what happens on the dollar, the pound dollar here. Got to get closure with some rejections, so that's what we are waiting for. Well, we actually closed into the zone. So I'm not too confident about that one. That's not really a good sign. There was no rejection there. Gotta get the rejection to confirm that it wants to bounce back up. So even if it does starts to move up and everything, I mean, fine, but we're not getting the confirmation based on my rules to enter in. So just waiting. That was a pretty bearish candle into that zone, so we'll see. Coming off of it. But even the 5 minute, I mean, that's not a good sign to me. I definitely wouldn't take this buy position here at all. I would just wait and see how it reacts. If it comes up a little bit and then start getting some rejections, then yeah, maybe, but that doesn't look like a good buy to me. That one's coming down, coming up to the zone, still coming down. Nothing yet, guys, nothing yet. Tired this morning, man. Yep. Yeah, price doesn't seem to be coming back up off of that zone, so glad we're staying out of this one for now. We just want to see how price reacts to this level here, because it doesn't look like, I mean, with it closing well into it and not rejecting it at all, this may keep pushing down, so this is not a buy that I'm looking to take right now. Just see what it does, how it reacts. Yep, and as you can kind of tell, I mean, price is just continuing down on this one, so glad we're avoiding this trade. We didn't get the confirmation that we wanted to sell, to buy, so just wait. Let's check the other pairs here. So usually, like I said, I usually only look at the three major pairs that I trade: dollar yen, euro dollar, and the Aussie dollar. But when there's nothing really active as of right now, then I'll analyze the other charts and see what we could potentially catch on those. Because right now we're just pretty much waiting for price to come down to this level potentially and reject. If we don't get this, I wouldn't be buying or selling on that one. You have a zone set up for entry. If we get those zones hit and the confirmation for rejection, then we'll look to take some trades. But right now, there's nothing there. We'll keep watching the pound dollar, and see what it does here. We are getting some rejection on that. Looks like it's coming back up a little bit, but the fact that it closed into it here is not a good sign for me, so still waiting. Let's take a look at the other pairs for now. See what else we got going on. If we don't get anything about like 10 or 10:30, might cut the stream short here because nothing really worth looking at. Price may not come all the way back up, looks like. Initially, I thought about this area being a zone, but I'm not too confident about that one. I would look at a little bit lower like these here. So for EJ, yeah, it had to come all the way down into that area for me to be convinced to take a trade on that one. So let's go back to the dollar, the pound dollar. That's bouncing. Good. So far, even though that one is bouncing up, it's not giving me any signal to buy. We didn't get the rejections I was looking for, so it's not one that I would take. That was a pretty good bounce off of that zone, but didn't get any indication that it was going to do that. So if I don't get confirmation, I don't trade it. Might just have to miss this one. Let's look and see what else is going on. That's moving back up. Price may not come all the way down to our zone. And so this is the kind of thing that I want people to understand, is that you have your trading rules set up, your strategy set up. If you have rules, stick to the rules. If you don't get your entry, you don't get your confirmation, don't take the trade and just move on with it. You don't have to trade every day. So, and I mean, this week has already been a pretty good week. Let's see, what was the start of this week here? Was it the 1st or 31st? Yeah, so the start of this week was Sunday the 30th, so Halloween was on the 31st. What trades did I take? There was nothing on the 30th, that was Sunday. On Monday, I'm pretty sure I didn't take any trade. Just did an analysis on that one. Tuesday the 1st, I'm pretty sure I took trades on that one. Yeah. Tuesday is when I had like 4 trades. 2 losers, 2 winners, and ended up with about $500 profit that day. And then yesterday was another good day where I had 3 trades. Ended up with about $1,400 on that one. Was it this one? Yeah. So that was the trades from yesterday. So this week alone, I mean, about what, 1,900 roughly. We had 4 trades and 3 trades, so 7 trades this week already, and still profitable. So not a bad week. It's not gonna be a bad day if we don't take this one here. So at least on the euro dollar, since it's coming back to that major resistance level, may look to see how it reacts to it. Because I mean, overall, I'm still just only looking for buys on this. Even if it did give that rejection here, I'm not sure that I would honestly take a a sell position because all that volume in there, it could pretty much turn around and keep moving up at any point. And this movement here may actually break above and continue moving up. So depending on how it reacts, if we get those rejections again and closes below the major level, it may come down and retest down here, but I still wouldn't be looking for a sell on this one at all. Just kind of seeing what it does. It didn't break the bottom of this candle, so this may come back all the way up here. Well, the pound dollar kind of did what we were looking for, but I didn't get the confirmation that I was looking for to actually take buys here. Even though price did, I mean, hey, it bounced off of major resistance, broke the structure here, came back to retest it. What I was waiting for is for price to actually reject this area and close above it, but it didn't do that, so I didn't take a buy position on this one. Even though it is doing what I was hoping it was going to do, I didn't get the confirmation that I was looking for to actually take a buy position. So we might have to just miss this one here and let us see how if it rides up. We were aiming for 70 pips on that one, so if it gets to that, good analysis. Didn't get confirmation to buy though, so we'll see how that one plays out. But I mean, at this point, there's no really trade going on the pound dollar. So let's see, nothing on pound yen, EJ. What's that get? I already made its rejection at this level. Lines up with this a little bit here, close to this, but that was not one that I would have taken. I would have wanted price to actually come well into the zone and reject there. Didn't get that, so not looking for one there. We might be rejecting here to come back down, but again, I'm not taking any sales on this one here, so. We're moving down. Potentially to here. But we did get a nice rejection here, so let's see if price actually makes it below this wick. Might reject it and start moving back up, but we'll see. It's pushing down though. Yep. And this is why I was not looking for sales on this one here, because that exactly could happen. It's just going to keep pushing up, it looks like. Yep. Maybe go to that next major resistance. That's what it looks like. That one's pushing down, continuing up. Ah man, this would have been so nice to catch that one, but hey, we didn't get the confirmations on this one here, so not trading something that doesn't fit my rules, even if it does play out. So it is what it is. Oh man, we'd be up like 60 pips already. Even on the 5-minute chart, we didn't really get the rejection I was looking for either. So it's like, yeah, that would have been a nice one though, but you know. We're just kind of keep an eye on this one here and see if that would hit our take profit if we had it in place. Looks like we would be hitting that 70 pips on this one. But it is what it is. This would have been a nice one to take, but you know, it kind of played out exactly as I was looking for. I mean, broke the highs, came back, retested, rejected off of it, but it closed into that zone and we didn't get the rejection wicks that I was looking for. So yep. This would have been a good one. It broke these highs as well, so this is probably going to keep pushing up, but like I said, we'll take this one as a missed. That's pushing up, pushing down. It's continuing its trend. The volume for this morning, man, after that news event came out, pretty much just pushing everything up, or pushing everything in that direction. And there we go. That would have hit that 70 pips right there. We missed that one, guys. That would have been nice. Played out exactly and right into that zone. Probably gonna reject right there, but like I said, we didn't get the confirmation to enter in on this one here, so we missed this trade. Oh well, it is what it is. 70 pips. What was that, pound dollar? So what would that have played out to? Three standard lots. That'd have been 20. Oh man, that'd have been nice, but oh well. If anybody took this trade, this would have been a good one to call it a day on, right? Three standard lots, $2,100, and but as of right now, I mean, we don't have any other things played out. Now, if you guys do keep track of the channel and already know my trading strategies as far as like support and resistance, supply and demand, and trend trading, this would have been a good one, a good setup here based on trend trading. Broke the highs, came back to retest the highs, and then bounced right off of it and continued up. So it would have been a perfect trade if we got the rejections there to actually buy in. So. Oh well, I think this would have been the only one really valid for today, because none of the other ones really gave us an entry point to come in, and this one is just skyrocketing. And that's exactly why I didn't want to take any sales or look for sales for it to come back to reject here. No guarantee that it was going to come back down, and it didn't, so it just continues up. So it's going to come to the major resistance or support. So basically just set up where you're looking for entries, and if you don't come back to that level, then you don't take a trade. Pretty much simple as that, guys. I wish this one would have gave us the setup though. That would have been nice. Man, that one is just pushing. Such aggressive movement on this one. Yeah, Hefe. So usually the live streams, I'll do those on Sundays. So the market analysis is kind of different way that I handle it. The live streams for the market analysis are Sunday evenings, Tuesdays, and Thursdays during the Asian session, and then I do the live trades during the New York session on Fridays. Depending on the day, I may do extra live sessions for trades throughout the week. But as far as like scheduled right now, it's just the Fridays for the live trades. Otherwise, it's going to be market analysis, and then I also do I'll just post like a video recap or like the trades that I took during that day or the day before. So like for this week, for instance, let's see if I can find those. So on the 1st, I think that was Tuesday. Yeah, so Tuesday, the 1st, I had 4 trades, 2 losers and 2 winners. So still ended up with like a $500 profit on that one. So it wasn't a bad day, still ended up profitable. And then yesterday we had 3 trades, 3 winners. Where I ended up with about $1,400 in profit. So not a bad week. I mean, a total of 7 trades for this week. May not find a good trade today. I was looking at the pound dollar, but didn't get the confirmation for me to actually enter into those trades, to that trade. And as you can see, I mean, it would have been a winner on this one, but didn't get the rejections that I was looking for to actually confirm that price wanted to move up, and price actually closed into that zone. So I stayed out of that one, and then pretty much as soon as it went into there, it started to move right up out of it, and would have hit the 70 pips that I was looking for initially, but didn't get the confirmation, so it didn't meet my rule, so I didn't take the buy. So the confirmation, so this is the basic rules that I follow, whether it's support and resistance, supply and demand, or trend trading. First, of course, check the news, because I'm not trading during the news. That throws off the entire strategy altogether. Mark up my main support and resistance levels on the 4-hour chart. Then I move down to the 1-hour chart and take a look at my actual direction, see where price is actually moving. If I'm creating higher highs, higher highs, higher highs, then I'm looking for buys, or if I'm creating lower lows, looking for sells. So that's simple. And then on the 15-minute chart is where I actually take my trades. And then for the actual confirmation, like for instance, for the pound dollar that we saw in this one, I would need to have seen price come into that zone and actually reject that zone with a wick. So like at least a half of the candle length would need to be a wick here, or the entire thing be a wick. So something like this, or like this, or even like a rejection like this, or something like that. That would have been valid enough for me to go ahead and be convinced to take the trade to buy into it and ride it up. The fact that it closed into that zone was not enough for me to be convinced that it would move up. Even though it did play out, it is what it is. I got to stick to my rules. That's what I've found most consistency for me winning trades. So even when I looked at the 5-minute chart, I didn't get that confirmation that I was looking for. So price closed in, kind of a doji there. Nothing indicating about this that it wants to move back up. But then as soon as that next candle came out, it came below the zone a little bit and then started to move up. And I don't typically take trades off the 5-minute chart, so I didn't jump into that one there. And I was looking at the 15-minute anyways. I need that confirmation on the 15-minute chart to show it wants to move up, or closure. If the closure of the candle would have happened like right above the zone, I would have been good with going in and taking the buy position there, because at least it was showing movement up. But it went too fast and didn't get what I was looking for based on my rules, so I didn't take it. Would have been a nice one though, you know. Easy 70 pips in half an hour. Like I said, when I calculated that on the pips here, I mean, that would have been $2,100 on a 3 standard lot, so I probably would have been done for the day. But didn't get the confirmation, so. Oh, this one's moving right up. This one looks like we're going to be looking for buys. We did go ahead and break and close above that zone. So earlier when I was looking at it, we were kind of in this area. And this is why I didn't, even though we got that nice rejection here, I was looking for buys. But I had a feeling it was going to come back into this area. And the fact that it came down and created a higher low is a good sign that it was going to break this structure here and close above. So this one we'd probably be looking for buys. I'm not sure exactly where we would though. This doesn't really fit into any of my strategies there. So the risk percentage, so here, I know some people kind of limit to like 1 to 2% on the trades. Honestly, I really don't calculate that. What I do is, so like if my account balance, my actual capital can withstand to take like a trade that's so if it can hold about like a 25% of the trade position. So like let's say I'm taking a 3 standard lot trade. If that's about what, $300,000. So my capital, my weight in the market, or the weight that my balance could afford, would have to be at least what, 1,200, 1 mil, 200,000. So my account balance needs to be at least that in weight and in leverage to be able to take a trade, because each trade that I take are usually going to be 25% of my equity. I know that's a little bit higher than what most would typically do, but my stop losses are usually really tight, so the percentage that I would lose would still be pretty small, because I mean my stop losses are like ranging from like 10 to 15 pips. So on what, if I'm doing like, let's say the euro dollar, that's where most of my trades are taken anyways. So if I'm risking like 15 pips on the euro dollar, oh sorry, I would be risking about $450, and that's not a very high percentage based on my account balance anyways on the larger account. So if my even though the equity amount that I'm using is pretty large, it's only, I mean, like I said, 25%. That way it gives me room to place another trade if I do find another position that I can use about 50% of my equity in a couple of trades together. But my risk to reward ratio and my stop loss is so tight that even if I do lose, I'm only losing $450 of my account balance, and that's not very much. So I mean, I guess in the end it will still be like, what, with 15 pips, 450, I'll still only be looking at maybe 1% of my capital. So I guess it still does kind of fall into that 1 to 2%. I just don't calculate it that way, to be honest. I just go off of my actual equity and what trade I can take based on my balance. So for the most part, yes, it depends on where I enter in the trade. So like for instance on this one, you're looking at roughly 17 pips, because that would have been right below that level. So it just depends. It's not every time that I'm gonna set it at 15 or 10 to 15. It just depends on where I enter in the trade. So like if I would have gotten something like this where price came in and rejected this level and closed like right above here, I would have go ahead and bought in here, and then my stop loss would have been right at the bottom of that wick. So yes, it would have been a little bit over 15, but still within the range that I feel comfortable making a stop loss there. So yeah, that still would have been about the 15 to 20 that you were talking about. So 17 pips on that one would have been pretty comfortable with that. For sure, this one is probably going to continue moving up. Just don't know exactly where a good buy position would be on this one. We broke the structure and closed above it, but we're so close to the zone that like I would want to see a little bit more movement on this to be able to do that. Like at least coming up here and then coming back down, but it's so close to it that I don't think this would not be a trade that I would be looking for, but I have a feeling it's definitely moving up though. So the take profit, it does depend on the next zone that's available. So on the pound dollar, it was initially, yeah, it was a 1 to 4 risk to reward ratio, but it was based on this level here, this rejection here. So what I ended up doing is I marked up the rejections or the zones where I would find kind of resistance to bounce off of, and I went ahead and marked this on the 1 hour chart. But when I looked at the 15-minute chart, there was a little bit of hesitation here. Even though price may continue to move up, I usually like being in and out of the trade, so I could have aimed for a little bit higher, but the fact that we got a little bit of rejection here, and then by the time it reaches that, it's going to be closer to 11, 12 o'clock, and that's when volume starts to slow down. And as you can see, it's at that level now, and we're showing a little bit of resistance. It may not be much, it may just continue and blow right through it, but I usually only aim for the next resistance level where price would actually start to hesitate. So that's why instead of going into that zone, I marked it below that zone before it reaches that area and starts to give us a little bit of rejection. So that's where the 70 pips came from off of this one. It just happened to be a larger risk to reward ratio. Typically I'm only aiming for 1 to 2 and 1 to 3s, but with the amount of space that we had until the next level, it just happens to give us the 1 to 4. Yeah, so I mean, as far as like cutting a trade, if you don't have a take profit always set, so before I actually enter in a trade, all of this is already planned out ahead of time. So like when price broke this structure and we were well up here, this is when I marked this zone up here, marked my entry level that I was looking for, and if price came back into it and gave me confirmation, this was going to be my entry, this was going to be my stop loss, and that was going to be my take profit. I don't really have a set a pattern that I would look for to exit a trade, unless I'm still like way in the original entry. If price was just kind of stagnating and wasn't seeing the movement and it was just consolidating in that entry level, then I would go ahead and cut a trade short. If it's not moving immediately into profit or into to hit my stop loss, and it's hesitating for like a couple of hours, then I'd probably go ahead and exit the trade at that point. But as far as being into this much profit, I'm just aiming for the next resistance zone and mark my take profit right below it. And as you can see, we are starting to get that hesitation, the rejection candles here at this level, but I would have already been out of it at that point, so it would have been irrelevant to me there. So it's just, I see this a lot to where, yeah, even this small amount of resistance can cause this, and I want to go ahead and just take my profit and be done with it at that point. And this is a pretty generous 1-to-4 risk to reward ratio, so not bad at all to me. So on the dollar, the euro dollar, we're back at another rejection, major zone. Man, that was a lot of buying power. I mean, broke this zone without any issues and kept going. A lot of movement missed on this one, but I didn't get really a confirmation to enter in, so 100 pips. I would have liked price to come all the way down to buy in, but at this point we can actually move this. Let's do this. Be looking to have a zone here, and the zones on this would be pretty much the wicks where I would be entering in, so right above that major support level. If price came back to this, then I would be looking to take a buy position. But we might not get that. It just wants to keep going up, man. That one broke through right the major support. May come all the way down to here now. A lot of movement missed, but hey, if you have a specific strategy, if you have specific rules, stick to them. If they're consistent for you and they work for you long term, stick to the rules. You don't want to start abandoning those, and just because you see a couple of times that price ends up working if you didn't follow your rules. So unfortunately, yeah, that does result in missing some trades, but that's trading, so rather miss a trade than lose a trade. That would have been a nice one. Yeah. Still, I come back to look at this like, damn. But oh well. I mean, I already placed like 7 trades this week, so it's like, maybe it's a good thing I won't have a trade today. Avoid a loss. Pretty good profit for the week, so oh well. Getting a nice rejection here. What time is it? It's just the beginning of the 15-minute candle on this one, and we're already rejection. This might continue pushing up here, but it's not a very clear position, so I wouldn't take this one. So I ended up marking the euro yen pair. I marked this zone for my entry down here. This one moved kind of fast too, so even if I would have had it something like this, because at the top of this wick, I mean, it came down and it barely tapped into it. Not even into it, it really just bounced off of it. Usually when I set up a zone like this, I want it to actually go into the zone, maybe halfway, close with a rejection candle, which this would have been nice, but I mean, there's a pretty large gap that would have made my stop loss pretty wide. That's 20 pips right there, so, and my stop loss would have had to been below here. With this long of a wick, I wouldn't have bought in right here, because I mean, my stop loss would have already been 20 just to get to here, and price could have came down and then rejected again in that zone before moving up. So that's more of a low quality trade for my setup. So would not have been a good one for me to take. That would have kind of busted my risk to reward ratio. Hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Hefe. What do you typically trade, or what's your trading style or trading strategy? Uh, yeah, I usually don't do any indices really. Um, Stick to the currency pairs that have been consistent for me, and I'm familiar with their patterns. So let's see what gold was showing today. Yeah, I'm not very good with well, I don't know if I'm good at it or not because I don't trade it. I don't really analyze it at all. Um, but it's something, I mean, I'm assuming based on the way it's moving, it would kind of apply the same. I mean, what I would be looking at is, and this is the right one that you would be trading, right? Or if I'm even looking at the right chart. So first I would start at the 4 hour, set up the majors. This would be a good major. This would be a major for me. And then this, and I'm looking at this one as another resistance level here. So you say you were looking at resistance on the 15-minute, and you sold, okay. So you're talking about like right up here is where you were looking at? Is this the zone you were looking at there? Yeah. So I mean, it's not a bad zone. So like, the way that I would typically look at it is, if I'm taking a buy or sell position, especially if I'm trading support and resistance, I would need it to be at one of the major levels, 4 hour support and resistance. I don't usually take buy and trades off of like the 1 hour views, just because they may not be as consistent or hold up as often. So that's why when I first went into the 4 hour, yes, there's a little bit of rejection here and here, but it's not as clear as something like this. Like this rejection here, rejection, 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 and these two rejections, and then these majors here. All of that kind of falls in between all of that. That's why I didn't really mark this as a major, even though you had this rejection here and rejection here. But I don't see that as a major support and resistance on the 4 hour. So, but moving back on the 1 hour, yes, it does look like rejection or resistance at that level, because it could even extend all the way out, to be honest. Yeah. So I mean, it's not a bad level. It's just for my strategy, I don't take buy and sells off of the 1 hour levels. If it's specifically support and resistance, then it has to be like at a 4 hour major. But supply and demand, I'll trade that differently. Trend trading, I'll trade that differently. So even something like this, like if price were to come back down to that 1 hour, and if I was looking at trend trading, this could be a potential buy. But the reason I would take a buy here is because price is already broken above that level, and if it came back down to retest it, and we got the confirmation, the wicks rejecting that zone, then that would look like a buy position to me. but assuming that it would just bounce off of it, because even if you're looking at the 1 hour and the 15 minute on this here, you're not getting any confirmation that it wants to reject. It's just blowing right through it. Especially, okay, so here's another kind of sign that kind of would help me avoid take that trade, is this long ass wick here. All of this rejection, and it's at a major support level, and the buying power that comes in to reject it that much tells me that it's probably going to break the zone. And when it closed out, even on the 15-minute chart, I mean, it's pretty clear there. There's no rejection at all to it. It just continues back past it, closes above it, and everything. So this does not look like a good sell position to me, based on this bounce, the closure, and no confirmation that it wants to reverse back down. But if it were to come all the way back down and bounce off of it and reject with the wicks, then yeah, I would take a buy there to come back to at least this level here. Because at that point, I don't know what it's going to do at the major level. I'm just waiting and kind of see. So that would have been maybe, yeah, just that much. And I don't know what the pip amounts are on that. Was that a 110 or so that we would aim for? Yeah, you can tell I don't trade gold at all. So. So this is what I would be looking for as a valid trade for that. So nothing too complicated as far as my strategies, to be honest. Like I said, support and resistance, supply and demand, and trend trading. The trend trading part of it is more of, I mean, it could really be seen as breaking structure, like these highs. But that's what I would be looking at, to be honest, on that one. Yeah. That would have been a nice, yeah, 100 pips on that one, yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, I trade with IG here in the U.S. Honestly, I don't even know if they offer indices. I've never even checked with IG to see if they offer that here in the U.S. I know other brokers do, but I never trade those, so I've never even really checked. That would have been a good move, though, if it would at least came down to reject here, yeah. But I mean, I see why you took the sell there. It's just there was really no confirmation that it wanted to come back down. So, what was the other level you were talking about? You took 2 sells. This right here. Is that what you were looking for? Yeah, I mean, my only hesitation with that would be that the way we're trending up. So if you remember, so when I was going through my setup of the chart, so I check for news, I mark up my major levels on the 4-hour, and then I look at the 1-hour for where price is trending, what the direction is, and then I look for my positions on the 15. So with this, if I would have applied the same thing to this, went to the 4-hour, set up my zones, went to the 1-hour, and looked at the direction, all of this is indicating buy positions. So even though we're getting to rejection levels or resistance on the lower levels here, the 1-hour and the 15-minute, I'm still not taking sell positions against the trend. Even as clear as this looks, yeah, it came up to that zone, and even on this one, we got the rejection wicks and everything, and it closed below it, that rejection as well. But you're still trading against the trend, and that trend can continue at any point. It doesn't have to come back down to this zone or come back down to any zone. If you're uptrending, you're uptrending. At any point that you decide to trade against it, it could reverse. It could continue to trend against you. You're kind of counter trend trading on that one there. It's just the direction, like I said, and that's why, even though I miss some trades, and the strategies and the rules that I apply are there for a reason, at least for me. From my experience, if I follow this exact pattern and I stick to it, I'm consistently going to have more winners. I might have less trades, but the less trades is going to also equate to less losses for me. Less trades, but more winners, kind of thing. So zones on the 4-hour, direction on the 1-hour, entries on the 15. So all of this is basically just pointing, hey, buy. Higher, here's your low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. It's all going up. You're only looking for buys on this one. Does that make sense? Or, like I said, I mean, yeah, these are definitely levels, but they're on a smaller time frame. They're not as the 1-hour and 15-minute support and resistance levels are going to be less respected by movement, by the structure itself. So you just got to kind of be careful with that, because yes, it is at a level, but on this one we didn't get any rejection to say, hey, we want to continue back down. On this one, we got the rejection, but you're still going against the trend in general. You always want to kind of move with the trend. There's no indication here that it wants to move down. So the same way that I was looking at the euro dollar here, even though, yeah, we got the same thing exactly like the gold position actually, and even this time we're at a major level, right? So we're looking at price coming all the way up to a major resistance level. We get rejection, confirmation that it's going down. You got the closure below the level and everything, but we're trending up, and you just don't want to take that chance of price continuing the trend. Just because you get a rejection at a certain level. So all of this, low, higher low, higher low, higher low, it's all trending up. That's why I'm always looking for buys on these. And the only reason, so like yesterday I took a buy position on this one here, even before it started showing that it wanted to go up in the direction. But this was because it was literally only a supply and demand trade. So if I zoomed into this one here, and I was only aiming up to that resistance level, the major zone. So we had a lot of volume come in and come back down and test that demand zone that was here. once we're in that zone, I didn't get the rejections right away, and it just stagnated into that zone as the session went on. So I did go ahead and take a buy position here, but with it being later in the New York session, there wasn't much movement there anymore. So pretty much the entire time I was in the drawdown area, and then I ended up closing out at like 3 pips profit because it was already, I literally held this past the New York session into the Asian session, and I usually don't do that. But I was confident it was going to keep going up. I just didn't know when because the volume was pretty much dead at that point. If I did hold it, yes, it would have eventually hit my 40 pips at that major resistance level, but that's not part of my trading strategy and my rules. And I was actually breaking my rules holding it even past the New York session. So I ended up just closing it out at 3 and just to cut the chances of it going against me at that point. But this was literally just a supply and demand trade, and that's the only reason why I took a buy position on this one, because the overall trend is down on this, and I was only aiming for the 40 pips at this next high. But something like this, if you're support and resistance trading on the major levels, all of this is indicating buys, and the same thing applies to that gold position. But I mean, looking at the rest of these, if I'm looking for all buys right now, there's not really anything that's setting up, and it's already like, it's about to be 11 o'clock Eastern time, so I might not really find another trade. Like this one would have been a good one if I got the confirmation, but I didn't, so I didn't take it. Just a missed trade. So on the dollar yen, maybe something like this. This would have been another entry point that I would be looking for a sell. Now now this would be a low quality trade though. Let me see. Yeah. So let me explain that. So most of my trades are going to take place during the beginning of the New York session. Even though my strategy is going to be the exact same no matter what session I'm trading, I do consider when I'm actually entering a trade. If I'm trading the New York session, I want the entry to be something like after 8:30 and before 1 o'clock Eastern time. If it's any later than that and I still take a trade, that's me being stupid and breaking my rules. And that's kind of what I did on the euro dollar pair, because I was still confident it was going to move up, but it was going to be a lot slower, and I would have had to stay in the trade a lot longer, which I don't do. So if I'm trading New York, it's got to be at the beginning for me to actually enter into a trade. If I'm already in a trade at that point, yeah, I might hold it a little bit longer depending on what it's doing, if there's still volume there, but it usually dies down after 2 Eastern time. So yeah, I do consider the exact time frame when I'm going to take a trade, and then the actual change in the session. I rarely hold a trade past the ending of a session. If I'm trading Asian session, I'm not holding it until London. If I'm trading New York, I'm not holding it until Asian session. I just happened to do it yesterday, and of course that was probably a mistake. I just didn't happen to lose on that one and just kind of broke even because I got hit with the conversion charge anyways by IG. So those 3 pips were still irrelevant. It was barely any profit there. So I definitely like to be out of trade before the end of the session, before a change of a session. So what I was saying, at least on this one here, my only hesitation about this is because we're already coming down to a major level. So this would be a low quality trade. If price actually came into here and rejected, gave me everything that I was looking for rejection, there's only room for this movement. That's all that's pretty much there that I would be confident in price going into, because of that major support level. If it does bust through it, great, but I don't know that. the way that I look at those levels is I want to see what price is even going to do at those levels. I'm not going to trade towards those levels if there's not much room there. So this is a sell position I wouldn't even take. Even if it comes in and rejects, I'm not taking a sell here. So I don't set up alerts, and the only reason that is because if I'm looking to place a trade for the day, I'm gonna be actively looking at the chart anyways. If I'm busy and doing something else, if I'm like out and about, I might peek at the chart on my phone or an iPad. But let's say I'm busy or I'm in a meeting or if I'm doing something else with my kids, I'm not going to set up alerts, because even if I get an alert to check the charts to, hey, price is at a zone that you're expecting it to go through, it's probably going to happen when it's not during the times that I'm looking to trade anyways. And if I'm not looking to trade during a specific time, I'm not going to jump on the chart real quick and look at it and say, hey, price is there. Let me go ahead and wait with it and see what it does at that level for me to trade, because I wasn't planning on trading during that time anyways. I kind of take this really passively, to be honest. If I'm looking at a chart and price comes to a level and I see a setup happening between support and resistance and supply and demand, then yeah, I'll look and wait for price to do what it needs to do and then take a trade. But no, I don't set up alerts to tell me, hey, go look at a chart kind of thing. If I'm not planning on looking at the chart at a certain time, then I'm probably not going to jump in based on an alert. And as far as the actual trend, yeah, for the most part, I look at the hourly chart to dictate what the actual trend is. Because a 15-minute chart could be giving you a temporary direction before it overall goes into the right place, you know. So let me just kind of go through all of these, because I don't think I'm going to have another trade really set up in the time frame that I'm looking to place a trade. It's already 11 Eastern time. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I would need, at least on the euro dollar, I would need price to come all the way down here and show rejection for me to buy back up into that zone. Same thing here. I wouldn't even be looking at a sell because of this major, so definitely nothing's going to happen with this one. Aussie dollar, I would only be looking for buys. Let's see, on the 4-hour. Yeah, I mean, we still got plenty of headroom for profit. If we to look for a buy, we just need a good entry point to make it worth it. Don't see anything really clear, to be honest, though. Maybe this area, but it looks like it already kind of hit there based on this. I would not have seen this as a valid zone at that time anyways. It just so happens that it broke above it and came down to retest it, so I would not have saw this beforehand. I wouldn't have seen this as a valid bounce level to continue moving up, so I'll take that back out. Yeah, my entry point would have been way down here. So it didn't make it back down, didn't take it. Now here, yeah, I mean, at this point, me see if that zone still would apply. Trim that up a little bit. As far as an entry, it would have to come back down to at least these wicks here for it to reject again, for me to look for a buy position, and then keep moving up. I need at least to retrace into this area and show rejection. If I don't get that, it's not a valid trade for me. And that's plenty of room, even if it did get to here. Yeah, 100 pips. That'd be so nice. I would only aim for that top though. So if you look at top of that, this is what I would be aiming for. I'd buy here below the level, about 13 pips, and I would aim for these highs. So right about here is what I would be aiming for, because you got rejection here, rejection here. I wouldn't even go all the way up. I would take it like right there, and that just happens to be a 1 to 5. I mean, these are pretty generous moves on these. Honestly, for a quicker profit, I would probably aim for like this, make it a 1 to 3, 40 pips, 60, all the way up to about 70 pips is potential there. Like I said, my top stop losses are pretty tight, so it kind of gives you plenty of risk to reward ratio on that. So 70 at the most is what I would be aiming for on that one. But I would need it to go all the way into here and reject. I don't see anything on this other than coming all the way back down. And then giving that room for that major support or major resistance, about 60 pips. Aim for maybe 50 of that. That would be a good one. This one already played out. And I mean, yeah. I take my confirmations on the 15-minute chart. So you can start looking at signs of rejection on the 5-minute, but I would need a 15-minute closure to actually take a position. So something like this, the dollar, the pound dollar, this rejection here would be a nice one if it was in here. That blue candle with the wick. This is what I would need to see down here for me to take a buy position on the 15-minute. Trend continuation on this, I mean, this is possible. Trend trading on this one here because it did bounce and reject. I'm just not as confident on taking this one here because this is just a temporary structure. Let's see, it's 1108. Yeah, I would want to see price into that zone a little bit more for a buy position to ride that up. But yeah, all buy positions pretty much on this one that I'll be looking for. Just need an entry point basically. But yeah, this is not, unless price goes well into that zone and rejects, then I would look for one. And it's already like 11 o'clock, so I don't know that I would be confident in taking this one. The ones that I usually trade during the New York session is Euro dollar, dollar yen, and Aussie dollar. Pound dollar, if I'm staying up and trading the London session, because that's 3 a.m. for me, then maybe. But yeah, I'm not too confident that I would take this one at this time anyways. The market is going to die down. And it's Friday, so. On this one, yeah. So, and this is a good thing. So I think I looked at this a little bit earlier for the pound yen. Price didn't really go up enough for me to see this as a rejection here to continue moving up. And it pretty much kept going past it, and now we're getting the rejections down here, but then we're back in that zone again, so we're not outside of that zone to continue to move up. So this is not one that I would be confident in taking. Even though we did break the high here and create a new high, it's not very far from here. So I'm not as confident of taking a buy position here to keep riding that up. So I'll ignore that one. Yeah, I'm pretty picky on my trades, so more high quality trades is what I'm looking for. And I don't see anything accurate on the euro yen, so had a rejection here. But it's past 11 o'clock, so I'm probably going to wrap this up. I don't see any other valid trade. The only one that would have been a good one, if I got the confirmation, was this pound dollar. Missed it, didn't get the confirmation based on my rules, so I didn't take it. It is what it is. Still made good profits for this week. 7 trades total. What was it? 4 on Tuesday, the 1st, and 3 yesterday. So not a bad week, but I think that's going to be it for Friday for this week here. So thanks for watching, Hefe. Like I said, I'm usually I'll do like market analysis or live analysis on Sunday evenings, and I'm on Eastern time, and that's usually during the Asian session that I'm doing those live streams. So Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursday evenings I'll do the live streams for those. May not actually take a live trade during the Asian session, but then I'll do my actual sessions where I'm actively looking for trades on Friday mornings. Usually I might take, like this week I did take trades during the New York session on Tuesday and yesterday, but I'm usually in meetings during those times, and I'm at my computer, so I can take a look at those at the same time as I'm doing other things and doing meetings. So I may take trades during New York session, but Fridays is when I have time to actually do a live stream and actually engage with people. So yeah, so usually the way the live analysis that I do is with the VIP students for the SyllaFX course. I do have the course right now. Actually, I made the course just $1 for the next couple of weeks. So and it pretty much explains it, kind of like the same thing we were talking about today. It goes through all that content. It has a lot of stuff for new traders as well, as far as like the basics, psychology, risk management. So if it's more for like newer traders to cover all the basics, and then I'll of course go into the trading strategies and explain why I take those trades, what I'm looking for in my rules. But I made that pretty much $1 right now, just because it's more of like it covers a lot of the basic things that I feel like everybody should know. And my trading strategies are very simple. The only thing that I really have an actual charge for is the live sessions, if I have live students in there and schedule sessions with them. But outside of that, the live streams that I do on Fridays and then the market analysis, those are usually for the VIP students. But I also check with them in the Discord group if anybody's going to join those. If I have a certain amount of students that will be in the live session, then it'll be a private session with those students. If I don't, I might feel like just doing a free session for everybody on YouTube and join, and have you join like that. So yeah, so if I'm doing the sessions with a group specifically, and I have a trade set up, then yes, I'll go ahead and take a trade with the group. Just understand that, like, so with the live trades that I do though, I want to make sure that people are understanding why I'm taking a specific trade. That way they can decide themselves if they're going to take a trade. I don't like this to be like a signals type thing. I don't want to tell people what to trade and when to trade it. But I'll go into detail as far as why I'm convinced to actually take a trade. Just kind of like the way we did with the gold trade and why I wouldn't have took those sales. I'll do those same type of things, and if I do take a trade and if the students want to take it, great, go ahead and take it. But I'm not here to really give signals and tell, hey, take this at this time, this is your stop loss, this is your take profit. I don't like doing that because it's not my money, and I don't want to feel like I'm telling people what to do with their transactions, because they may not fully understand why I'm taking a trade. I need people to be able to know exactly what I'm looking at and why that looks like a valid trade to me. So, but yeah, I mean, if I see a live trade that's set up and I want to take it, yeah, I'll go ahead and take it with the group. So, like I said, this one, I wish it would have got the confirmation, because that would have been a quick, within half an hour. I mean, 70 pips there. That was like $2,100. That would have been nice, but it didn't happen. So it is what it is. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I feel like I said, no matter, I mean, my trading strategies are very basic to the bone. I don't use any indicators or anything complicated or special about it. As you can see, I'm using TradingView, the free version, because that's literally all that I need. And the only reason I do my charting on TradingView is because of this, the buys and sells drawing, because IG doesn't offer this. I have to actually enter into a trade and then set up my stop loss and set up my my take profit to see what the risk to reward ratio is, and to even see something like this on the IG platform. I trade off of their proprietary software. I don't trade on MetaTrader or MetaTrader 4 or 5 or anything like that. So as far as the actual explanation and drawings, yes, TradingView is a lot better with that. That's why I do it on here. But as you can see, I have the free version, because that's all that I need. I don't need anything special indicators. Just set up my levels, look at the trend, and look at zones for entry points, and that's it. Very basic strategy, simple to the point pretty much. So yeah, exactly. Yep. Much easier to kind of jump between different charts, and everything is kept there in place. So you can always go back and look at it. So even like something like this on IG's platform, I don't have a history to look at on the charts. I can't go back and see exactly where I entered in and where I took profit or anything like that. If I'm in a trade, then I can look at those and see, like, I'm not sure what broker you use, but let me see if I can find. I took screenshots of the trades yesterday. Let's see if I can go. I think it should be on my desktop here. So this is what it looks like on IG's platform. The trade that I took yesterday here on the euro dollar. So yeah, I had to actually be in the trade and then set up my stop loss and then set up my take profit. And you can see, like I was talking about before, I was only doing the supply and demand trade on this one, bouncing off of this demand level and going up to this resistance, this yellow line. And that's exactly what's drawn up here. My take profit was right below the resistance level, and my stop loss was below the lowest low pretty much. So, and then the same thing with the euro, it was a dollar yen, I believe. Let me find that one. Yeah, this one. So I had took a sell at this point here because I saw this rejection, the slight rejection. And I was confident it was going to keep going down, and my stop loss was above there. Risk to reward 1 to 3, roughly, almost 4. And I was aiming way down here for, I believe that was 190 pips almost. But it didn't play out, and I ended up taking out at 24 pips, like you saw on this level here. So this is that same, just on TradingView, that I was looking at there. I was aiming for way down here, and took the sell there, but it was, I think my level's a little bit off here, but this is the same entry point there. Yeah, so that's where I was gonna go with that, but didn't work out, and held it a little bit long and went ahead and took it out at that point. So recently the win rate has been a little bit higher than usual. Like this last couple of weeks I was like a little bit above 80%, but usually I range between 70 and 80% on my success rate for the trades. But the way, as tight as my stop losses are, I mean, the risk to reward is usually like 1 to 2, 1 to 3, sometimes 1 to 4. So I still end up being profitable, of course. But if I'm winning 70 to 80% of my trades, then either way, even if I'm doing 1 to 1s on the risk reward, it will still be good. But I ended up making so much more just because of the 1 to 2s and 1 to 3s. But this week has just been a little bit higher than usual, so it's like between 80 and 85, I think. But that's not a consistent 80%. So. And like I said, I'm very picky about my trades, so I don't do a lot of trades, but they're higher quality trades that are usually going to win. Or like with the euro dollar one yesterday, this really could be a break even, because I closed it out at 3 pips, and then the conversion rate they hit me with for the session change ate away at those profits. So I didn't really win much at all on that one. So it wasn't a loser, but I also wouldn't consider it a winner. So. But I appreciate you watching, Hefe. If you got any questions, I mean, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, if you do want to message on TradingView, or not TradingView, on Discord, I do have the free support, the free group there as well on SyllaFX. So if you go to the site, you can join the free Discord group from this link here, and you can message through there as well. There's not too many people that's active all the time on it, but that's where I will usually communicate outside of the live streams. And then I'll always have like market analysis that I put on YouTube, so those are always going to be there. But yeah, but that's it for this one, though. I'm going to go ahead and hop off. Pretty much done for today and for the week. I don't see anything really setting up that would look close enough for me to take a trade. Like I said, even on this one, it's getting into that zone, but we're so close to that support. This is low quality. I wouldn't take that. I don't see anything here. I mean, price would have to come all the way into it, and it's already almost 11:30. Yeah. Nothing near the zones that I'm looking for to actually take buys. This may be, but I don't think I would take this one right now. I don't see anything at the moment, so I'm gonna wrap it up for Friday, and I'll do some analysis on Sunday, and probably do the live stream Sunday evening during the Asian session and see what we get. But I appreciate you hanging out and talking, man. But that's it for today. Thanks for watching.